What is up everyone, Rob the Vapor here, and today we are reviewing a mod, and the mod is the HCIGAR VT40. You guys may have seen my first look video on the channel, and today I'm going to review this bad boy. So if you guys aren't familiar, HCIGAR are a Chinese company. They've made some atomizers, they've done some clones, and now they're making some premium mods with authentic DNA chips in them. They've done the VT40, which is this one, and they've done the HB40, which is the previous version, I guess you could say. And then there's also the HB Mini, which is not temp controlled, but just it's a regular mod. So in this video, we are going to talk about whether I think the DNA40 is worth it, because basically, you know, any mod is only as good as its chip. So we're going to talk about the chip, we're going to talk about the construction, and yeah, all that good stuff. And also the internals. I have some pictures from HCIGAR, which is where I got this from. So I got this from HCIGAR for 140 euros. So be aware that this is a premium priced mod. And does it feel like it's worth it? I would say yes. It depends how much you want temp control. In terms of the VT40 being a vehicle to hold the DNA40, it's pretty much an A+. It's a very, very, very solid unit, and I really can't stress that until you guys get a hold of it. So if you, if one of your vape shops stocked this, I would definitely ask them to get a hold of this. This feels really, really good. The materials that are used are really good, so we'll talk about them in a second. But all in all, I really like the DNA40. I don't have some of the complaints that some people have had. It's been pretty smooth for me. And if you guys aren't familiar with the DNA40, I suggest you go and check another reviewer, and you guys probably know who he is, and that's Phil Bissardo. He did 2 videos about the DNA40, and I suggest you check them out because he does all the readings, he has all the equipment to do all this in-depth stuff. So he's really a treasure to us e-cig reviewers, to be able to reference his material, you know, because he just lays down the groundwork, man, with all these details that a lot of us don't even have the equipment to be able to measure these things. Does the temp sensing work all the time? I would say not 100%, but when it doesn't work, it's not this catastrophic, oh shit, I've burnt my cotton type of feeling. It's more just, I'm not getting a lot of vapor out of this, or it's, you know, just little strange things like that. But I would say that for me, the DNA40 V5 works 90% of the time, and that for me is good enough when it comes to temp sensing, because temp sensing to me, I discussed this in the last video, but it's one of the most important features that we can have in vaping. So as more and more temp sensing mods come out, happy days. What does temp sensing mean, and what is it? Well, basically it means A, that you're not going to burn your cotton or your wick ever, in theory, if it works. So for example, the burning temp of cotton is around 420 degrees, and I haven't burned cotton. Yeah, I haven't got burned cotton yet. So that to me is just crazy, right? Even in a dripper, whatever. And the other thing is then that you get identical puffs each time, identical vapor in theory. That doesn't work all the time, but that's not really the feature I wanted. When I bought this, I wanted the feature of having no dry hits. No dry hits has always been a problem for me as a guy who uses RTAs and drippers and stuff like that. And with this, it just ensures that you can't get a dry hit, and to me it works. So to just illustrate that, I'll just show you guys now how that works. So still holding down the power, okay, still holding it down. Still holding it down. So as you can see, the mod basically automatically detects how hot your coil is getting. It will tone down the wattage based on how hot the coil is getting, and it will give you a consistent vape for the most part, and will also mean that you will not get dry hits. So that's awesome. And that brings me to my next point. I was kind of curious on, would it increase coil longevity, things like that. And I think it could, but I think the main problem is the 9200 wire, and I haven't tried titanium wire, but these are the wires that you guys are going to have to use when you use a temp sensing mod. We haven't found a way to temp sense cancel yet, so we have to use 9200. 9200 seems to, I wouldn't say rust, because I don't think it's rust is what happens to it, but it seems to like degrade in quality pretty quickly. A week of good use and your coil is shot, much like cancel. I thought maybe with temp sensing and keeping it at a similar temperature and not having many fluctuations, maybe that the coil would last longer, but that isn't the case. It does seem like the coils do get pretty burned after quite a bit of use. So let's just talk about the HCIGAR VT40 and its actual attributes and its little spec sheet here. So it comes with 1 year manufacturer's warranty, and before I get into that, if you get this for cheap, I know that these are retailing for around, some places you can get these for like £80. Be aware of that, or beware, sorry, of that, because they're sort of like a fair trade number, recommended retail price, if you will. And some different stockists have actually broken that, and they've gone from, I think it's around 120 to whatever ballpark, and they've dropped the price right down, which is, hey, happy days, you get a cheap mod, right? But it's voided warranty completely. And I can't remember the serials, but definitely Google that and look it up before you buy your mod, because if it falls within a certain serial, then you guys could be in trouble, and you might have a unit that doesn't have warranty. It's still a legitimate unit, but just no warranty. So check that out, and make sure you shop responsibly. So let's just talk a little bit about it. Yes, it does have anti-lock. Yes, it is a C-frame, which, a lot of people are a fan of the C-frame. I know I am. I think it's a great feeling shape in your hand, and probably one of the better shapes for a mod. So it's got a self-adjusting copper center pin. We'll show you guys that up close. So it's like a spring-loaded connector. Genuine chip, which we've already talked about. Temperature protection in Celsius and Fahrenheit. Personally, I use Fahrenheit just because that's what all the reviewers use, and I see those guys using Fahrenheit, so I'm sort of going off them. It's got step up and step down, large OLED screen. This is the large version, so that's 128 pixels by 32 pixels. Anti-lock, preheat, automatic wire detection, and the micro USB charging port, which works fine, by the way. IPv4, I'm looking at you. Colors, black, silver and blue. Material is the C-frame itself, which is the actual silvery looking part. That's pearl chromium plated brass. The body is aluminium. The battery cap is silver plated brass. The 510 center pin is silver plated brass. HCIGAR coin is a zinc alloy. I'll show you guys that coin later. Battery, it takes a singular 18650 if you guys haven't seen that already. Its power goes from 1 to 40 watts. Obviously, it's a DNA40. Output voltage 1 to 9 volts. Output current 16 amps with a 23 amp peak. Temperature range from 200 degrees Fahrenheit to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. And that equates to 93 degrees Celsius and 315 degrees Celsius respectively. Resistance on the temp sensing wire is 0.10 ohms to 10 ohms. Resistance on standard wire is 0.16 to 2 ohms. So you've got like a good range there to build on this mod. It's actually a lot better than a lot of the sort of, cheaper mods that they generally, it's like 0.2, 0.3, you can't build any lower than that because it won't fire. And it is 86 millimeters tall, or long, 46 millimeters tall and 24 millimeters wide. And we'll show you guys what comes in the box in a second. So yeah, all in all guys, I really like this mod. I'm super happy with it. And for €140, yes, it is a lot of money. I do realize that. And the mod will only last as long as the chip. So do your research on a DNA40 and, buy smartly. If you want to buy a DNA40, I would suggest that this is one of the better put together mods. We've had some issues with temp sensing units like the IPv4, so there's been some issues. So that's up to you guys on what you want to buy. It's not about whether you are into Chinese temp sensing, American temp sensing. Just buy what sort of appeals to you the most. In my case, I like the look of this unit, so I went with the DNA40. because I'm a superficial bastard. But all in all, guys, really slick. Charger works perfectly, everything works perfectly, and this will probably be one of my longest reviews. But you know, you could, you know, probably, I judge all mods by how heavy and how like solid they feel in my hand, and this is definitely the most solid. It feels more solid than something that eclipses it in size, and that is the Tesla 120, which just feels like a metal box, which is pretty much all it is, even though it's a regulated mod. If it even feels more sturdy than the HB Mini, and to put it in contrast, the HB Mini is a 30 watt mod, singular rating 650 as well, and the DNF40 is actually pretty much the same size. So it just shows you all that technology gets crammed into a very, very small space. So yeah, guys, if you feel it's worth the money, go ahead and get it. You will not be disappointed. Very, very, very excited and happy with this unit. And both modes work fine. The temp sensing works fine. One thing I wanted to talk about is sometimes it'll just unexplicably stop, like it won't produce as much vapor. And I don't really know why that is, because it'll just say I put it down on my desk, I'm like playing a computer game, whatever. I come back to it and I try and vape, and the temp protect kicks in. Now, I thought that this was down to maybe me putting on a different atomizer, but even with the same atomizer, it happens, and the way around that problem is to up your temperature by 100 degrees, and that seems to fix the problem, and it doesn't seem to burn the cotton either. So I think there's a little quirk there, and that's what I say by 90% of the time it works. I think that there must be some little quirk that causes this issue. When you screw on a new atomizer, it's super easy to set up. Not hard, it's not complex, guys. When I bought my DNF40, I was stressing, thinking, oh my god, this is going to be so complicated, I'm going to have to relearn vaping, all this stuff. But it's super easy. It's never been easier. Keep in mind that this is an early technology, so we've got a long way to go yet. Like the DNA V5, this mightn't even be the end of it. We've got the DNA 200 coming soon. We've got all these Chinese temp sensing chips coming. Seems like every mod is starting to move that way now. So you guys should definitely, you know, make sure that you take a look at all your options. I'm not saying the DNF40 is the best temp sensing chip. I don't know. So, you know, check it out. But anyway, guys, I think that's about it in terms of quirks. That's about the only issue that I've had, and that's the temperature jumping. And that's about it, though, really. But as you can see, nice clean hit. I mean, I know most of that is down to the clearomizer, but it's just clean power. Battery life is fantastic, considering that you know, you've got the temp sensing technology and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you guys the internals pictures here, and you guys will see a quick little slideshow here of just the different pictures of the internals, and you guys can see that it's all nicely put together. And yeah, it's just smooth and pretty awesome. No messing about on the inside there. And yeah, guys, so let's take it down close. I'll show you guys the box, I'll do the unboxing, we'll talk a little bit about the features, and then we'll wrap this video up. All in all, before we go down close, I want to give my final score. And for the VT40, construction 10 out of 10, 100%, great job HCIGAR on making a very, very solid mod. Everything is just bang on. You guys really need to try it. I can't stress this enough. And for the DNF40, we'll give it an 8 out of 10. It doesn't work all the time. So overall, a 9 out of 10. It doesn't work all the time, you know, the temp sensing, but it's a new technology, so I'm willing to let it have a few faults. That's how I work with these things. So anyway, guys, let's bring it down close and see what's under the hood. Okay, guys, and here is the box up close. It comes in a carrier bag, which carries the same design. My carrier bag has since gone missing, but here is the box. VT40, Heartbeat by Evolve, and that's pretty much all it has on it. So you take it out, and then we've got a number to scratch and check your authentication. I know mine is legit, so, but I suggest you guys check it out, and it's got their phone number and other little details on the back there, their website and whatnot. So then you're going to want to open your box, and bam, here we go. This is the VT40 box. Simple, not much in it, you know, it just covers everything. So in this box we've got a charger, which you guys are all familiar with, and it's one of those spool chargers, and they're pretty cool, so happy days, I like them. And we've got something else which is cool. This is the coin for removing the battery, and it's got VT40 written on it. And the thing that I like about it, I don't know if you guys will be able to see, I don't know if autofocus will pick it up, doesn't seem to want to, but it has your serial number on the actual coin as well, so it will tell you the serial number as well as VT40. Then on the back you've got HCIGAR logo, which is cool. So let's bust out the VT40. So this is the unit itself. As you can see, pretty solid, nice clean design. The USB port is a little bit recessed into the unit, but it is very solid. When you connect the charger, you guys will notice that for yourselves. It feels very sturdy in there. It doesn't wobble around. It feels good. And then there's a red LED indicator for when it's charging. It will change green when it's fully charged. So then we come down to the bottom, which is where you put your battery in, and you've got your serial. You're made by HCIGAR. And then this is where you'll remove your battery. So you'll remove your battery with your coin. It's quite simple. You just turn it like that. Easy, and pop your battery out. Just in case you guys are new to it, you want to put the positive end of your battery up towards the 510, which is a great segue. So with the 510, then you've got your spring loaded 510, and you've got some little air holes here. But yeah, the 510 has taken any atomizer that I've thrown at it, so that's a good thing. And the finish hasn't really gotten scratched. I think it might have a few little slight scratches from maybe atomizers or whatever, maybe because it was in my pocket, I don't really know. Here is the logo, which confuses everyone because everyone thinks it's VI40, which is understandable because it sort of looks like VI40, but it's actually VT40. So yeah, there you go, you guys can see it now. But yeah, it's pretty nice. So it feels like a €140 mod to me, to be honest. I didn't feel cheated out of money after I bought it. I thought it was pretty great. So yeah, so let's just talk about the actual chip itself, the DNF40. Controversial as always. One thing about the DNF40 I don't like right off the bat is that when you charge it, it doesn't give you a live real-time reading of the battery life. Like, it doesn't give you a graphic that sort of states where it's at. This, you know, it's a minor complaint. It's not a big issue. But as you can see, guys, there's your ohm reading, your volt reading, and your Fahrenheit reading. And right now, 510 Fahrenheit is what I'm rocking. And then you've got your buttons up here, which some people don't like having the buttons close together, but I think it's good, and I'll show you guys why in a minute. So let's connect our sub tank to it, which has been my primary device on it, really. That and the Mutation X V4, just because I was reviewing it at the same time. So when you connect up an atomizer, and hopefully it will ask me, we tighten it down, and it feels pretty good. So when you connect up a new atomizer, it's going to ask you new coil up or same down. So in my case, because I've been using it, I press down and then it reads the same. Now if you were putting a new build on here, or if you were changing atomizer, you would want to press new up so that it can do a baseline reading as opposed to reading what your last atomizer was on there, you know. So then if you hold it down and fire, right, you can see it reduces the wattage, tells you temperature protected, temperature protected, temperature protected, and it'll let you know that. And when I first got the unit and those things were flashing up, I was getting some graphical errors, but not many. But now it doesn't happen, so I don't really know what that was about, but it seems to have fixed itself, so happy days. So if you want to adjust temperature, well, first we'll do wattage. That's simple, up and down. You guys know how to change wattage. I won't insult your intelligence. And while I'm here, actually, the buttons feel awesome, very clicky, very solid buttons, which is always nice. It's a nice plus not to have any rattling. There is no rattling from this unit, totally solid. So if you want to change temperature, you go bam, 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 5. So it's locked now, okay? So that means it won't fire because it's locked. So you want to hold down the plus and minus buttons at the same time, which is why I think it's handy for them to be together, because you can literally just do this, right, and hold it down. And then there you go, you can adjust your temperature as you will. So then if you go up past 600, it will switch off entirely. So you go into regular wattage mode at that point. It is no longer temp sensing. And then if you go down like so, it goes to Celsius, right? So it has both options there. Personally, I just prefer the Fahrenheit. It's what I'm used to seeing. But the Celsius is also there for people too. So happy days. And when you're using NIC 200, guys, you're going to want to use temperature sensing, right? So you're going to want to go through your temp sensing and change it to something, you know, around 450 is the default. I suggest you mess around with it, but 420 is the burning point of cotton, so you might want to use that. But we'll go to like 520, something like that. And yeah, that's that. So some of the features are, it's got the lock, which you guys seen. It's got stealth mode, which means that the display will stay off, which is kind of, you know, it will still show your error messages, but you know, it's not really that handy. So with right mode and left mode, let's just talk a little bit about that. We're locked at the minute, are we? Let's go again. It's locked. Okay, we got it. So you want to press your fire and up for 5 seconds. It's in right mode at the minute, and then it goes to left mode. So lefties, you guys are okay, and it works. If you guys want to hold the mod in either hand, it works comfortably. If you want the fire button at your thumb or at your index finger, it works both ways. So that's handy too. In case of the anti-lock feature, guys, you want to make sure that you're unlocked on the actual unit, and then you want to hold down the plus and minus at the same time, and there you go. Happy days, it's locked. It's not going to change magically while you're vaping, so happy days. It will also auto power down if it's been 30 seconds since a button press. And yeah, guys, it has a few error messages. Check atomizer. If you get a check atomizer, that means that there is a short going on in there. Weak battery generally means that the battery needs to be charged. That's the most common time you'll see it. Sometimes a higher rate battery needs to be used. So yeah, you'll get that. You've got ohms too high, ohms too low, and too hot as well. The too hot is not your actual unit that's too hot, your clearomizer or your atomizer. It's your onboard temperature sensing, so it's the heat of the actual unit. So when you get this message, it's probably a good idea to put your unit somewhere in the shade, out of the way. I've never gotten it myself, but generally you don't want your unit running too hot. So yeah, guys, that's it in terms of construction. And I just wanted to say before I went that I really like this mod. I think you guys will dig it too. It just works for the most part. You will have some minor issues. If you have any questions, please ask me in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Please leave a like and comment, and why not go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you guys next time for the next review. This has been the VT40. I have been Rob the Vapor. Haters catch the vapors. I'll see you all later.